Alright, so today we're going to cover how to make a holster. I'm going to make a holster for my new Smith & Wesson 44 Magnum. So if you can, you should find a book on how to make holsters with two cowboys kicking over a card table, because that's how you know it is awesome. Secondly, step number one, you find a nice big sheet of paper, you fold it in half. Now you take a pencil and you take your safety checked weapon and you take the firearm and you place it right there, dead center with the sights like that. And then you lay it over gently. And then you trace the outside of where the weapon is, or the pistol. Okay. Now you take the gun and you roll it over the other way. And guess what you're going to do now? The exact same thing. Okay. Okay. So now we have the traced outline of the width of the weapon. Okay, and now you have to refer to your book, because I forgot to refer to it ahead of time. And you do 3/4 of an inch. You trace 3/4 of an inch outside of that length. So I have a little ruler thingy here. And I'm going to figure out what 3/4 of an inch is. So that is that distance from there to there. I'm going to tighten that bad boy down. Okay. So now I'm going to trace the outside of the firearm. Very careful. Kind of just an in general thing. Okay. So in order to make the firearm fit, I got to go out about that much beyond the firearm. Do that to the other side real quick. Looks like it's a lot easier just to drag this bad boy. Okay. Okay. So the firearm needs at least that much room in order to go into the holster. And the reason for that is when you put the firearm in, you're going to sew. You're going to put sew lines. You're going to sew the edges like that. That's where the sew line is going to be. So you need a little extra room just for the girth of the pistol. So that's step one. Now I have a pattern here that I took out of the book for a 357 Magnum, and I photocopied it out of the book and enlarged it slightly. Let's see if it is close. And see, the 357 Magnum pattern is pretty close. Yeah, it's got the right, look at that. I enlarged it by 20%. And so the 357 Magnum pattern I enlarged by 20% looks like it fits just right for my 44 Magnum. So my guess that a 44 Magnum is about 20% bigger than a 357 Magnum was a fairly accurate guesstimation. So I'm going to use this holster pattern for mine, but you can take any gun and use the same method to develop a pattern. Now if you look at this pattern, here's where the gun's going to go in. This right here is dead center where the hammer is going to be. That's going to be a hammer protector to protect the hammer from catching on things. It's going to be right in front of the hammer. And then up here on the inside of the holster, this extra flap is what you fold over to make your belt loop, to have your belt go through it. So this flap folds over, and on the flap, I'm basically going to sew this section of the flap to the back side when I fold it down like that. So if you look at the holster, this is going to sew to here, and then this, the rest of it, sorry, it doesn't work very good. Okay, so here, let's try that again. Take the holster, and you put it that side to that side. Okay, so now you got your holster, and then this internal, this flap goes over like that. So that's basically how your holster is going to be laid out. Say that's a hammer protector. So, all right, so let me get the leather out and trace it and cut it, and we'll go from there.
Meep, meep.